Hi there, this is Gaurav from Neat Designs, and today we are going to create this amazing background reveal effect with the mask image property in CSS. So without any further ado, let's get started. So as you can see in my editor, I have this markup.html file with the basic HTML5 template. So let's start creating our markup. So in body, let's add a section with the class of blurred, okay, and in that section let's add a div with the class of el, okay, and after that let's create another div with the class of title and h1 inside that, and let's type out our channel's name in it, which is Neat Designs. Okay, so that's all we have for the markup. Let's move on to our styles now. So I am here in styles.css. So let's quickly target the body and let's set some basic styles on it. So margin 0, height to 100 VH, and font family to, let's say, Helvetica Neue, and sans serif as our fallback font. So now let's move on to our section with the class of blurred. And first of all, let's set the height to 100%, so it will occupy full height of the body, and background to, let's say, background, and URL, and let's set the URL to bg_blur.png, which is a blurred image, and let's set the position to center and size to cover. Let's save that. So as you can see, our image is loaded. So now let's move on to that el class. Okay, so first of all, let's set the height to 100%, so it will occupy the full height of its parent, which is the section, and let's set the background to URL of bg.png. okay, so this is the unblurred version of bg_blur.png, which we have used on the blurred section. So now let's use our today's featured property, which is mask image. So to use it, we need to use WebKit's vendor prefix. So let's type dash WebKit dash and then the property name, which is mask dash image, and then we have to specify the URL, or you can also use the gradients, but in this example I'm going to use an image. So let's say URL and then circle.png, which is a plain black circle image. So this is the image we are using on the mask image property. Okay, so let's close that, and then let's set the mask repeat. So again we have to use the vendor WebKit's vendor prefix. So mask repeat to no dash repeat, like we use on the background repeat, and let's set the WebKit mask dash size to 150 pixels and mask position. So instead of setting it to fixed values, let's use CSS custom properties, also known as CSS variables. So let's create two variables in the root of the element. So let's go here at the top and let's target the root of the element, and let's say dash dash mouse x to 50 and dash dash mouse y to 50 as well. Okay, and now let's use those variables in the mask position with the calc function. So calc, then let's use those variables, so var keyword and then the mouse x, and to convert it into the pixels, let's multiply it by 1 pixels. Okay, let's copy this thing and paste it here, and let's change the mouse x to mouse y. Okay, let me clean up this space. So now let's target the title and let's set the height to 100%. So now let's target the h1 inside of that title class. So let's say title space h1, and let's set the font size to 13 VW, so it will adjust according to the viewport width. Let's reset the margin to 0, and let's set the color to navy and text align to center, and let's add an animation on it. So let's say animation color 6 seconds for the duration, linear as a timing function, it will run infinitely. So let's say infinite, and direction to alternate. So when the animation ends, it will run backwards. Okay, so in this animation we are going to change the color of this title Okay, so now let's add the keyframes with the animation name. So let's say keyframe and then the color, which is the animation name, and let's start with the 0%. So let's say 0% and let's set the color to this hexadecimal value, which is 04879C, which is a greenish shade. Okay, and now let's copy this thing and paste it 5 times in total.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and let's increment the step values by 20%. So 20, 40, 60, 80, and lastly 100. Okay, and let me change their hexadecimal color value. So at 20%, let's change the value to 0B3378. For the 40%, let's say 0900P0. For the 60%, let's say BE3144. At the 80%, let's say 343434.
And for the 100%, let's say 5454C5. Okay, let's save that and let's we need to say keyframes, not keyframe. Okay, let's save that and now let's check that out. So as you can see, our animation is happening on this title. So now I want this title on this background image. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to position this blurred section to fixed. So let's say position fixed, and let's set the width to 100% as well. And now let's move it to the back by saying z index to -1. Okay, so as you can see, our title is on the top of that background image, but it's not vertically centered. So to do that, let's use the line height trick on it. So let's set the line height to exactly the 100% of its height, which is 100 VH. Okay, so as you can see, our title is now vertically centered. So we have done with the styles. Let's add some JavaScript. So I'm not going to create a separate file for JavaScript because it's a tiny little code and I don't want any separate file for it. So I'm going to create a script tag here, and inside that let's target the document and let's add an event listener on it. So let's say add event listener, and I'm going to add an event of mouse move. So let's say mouse move, and then I'm going to pass an variable and then the arrow function, and then let's target the document element, which is the root of all the element, and then the style method, and then set property. Let me maximize this window so you can see it properly, and then let's use that mouse x variable which we have already created in the styles.css in the root of the element. Okay, and let's set it to e.offsetx. Okay, so it is going to set the mouse x variable to this e.offsetx, which is the mouse move position of the x coordinate. Okay, and let's end it by semicolon. So now let's copy this thing and paste it here, and let's change the mouse x to mouse y and e.offsetx to e.offsety. Okay, let's save that and let's check that out in the browser. Oh, this is insanely great. So that's it guys, we have created this background reveal effect using the mask image property creatively. I hope you have enjoyed this video and learned something from it, and if you do, please click on that like button and also subscribe to my channel, and please consider supporting the channel on patreons.com. Link is in the description below, and if you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. So that's been it. Until next time, keep on hacking guys. Goodbye.